Hi, it's the middle of the month, so it's time to look back at the 6 books I've read so far. I think the planes have left. I'm sort of sitting here waiting for them to stop circling, and I think they have gone. But if they do appear again, I apologise. They usually do during my videos. Anyway, the 6 books I read, I've been trying to get through all these arcs that I've got. And the first one was a book that came out on the 6th of this month. So it's only been out a few days. And it's The Boy from the Sea by Garrett Carr, which is a debut novel. It's set in a rural fishing community in Ireland. A child is found in a barrel at the edge of the water, and Ambrose Bonner decides to take this child in to adopt it. His son Declan's not too happy about it, and what follows is 2 decades. We follow 2 decades of this rivalry between Declan and this adopted child, Brendan. And there's also a rivalry between his mother, Christine, and her sister, Phyllis. So you've got 2 lots of sibling rivalry in this book. And the voice is interesting because it's also almost like the collective voice of the village that's reporting on what goes on. So you get somebody, it's almost people watching this family. And you get, time has passed and this has happened to this person and this has happened to this person, and now we'll return to the Bonners, that type of thing. And there's no huge drama in it. It's a gentle tale of family and their ups and downs, their arguments and reconciliations. And there's a beautiful sense of place in this. So that came out the 6th of the month, The Boy from the Sea. Then I moved on to another arc that is now out. The Antique Hunters and Its Death on the Red Sea. This follows on from the first novel, The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder, by C.L. Miller. This is the second one. And we're back with Freya Lockwood and her Aunt Carol. We met them in the first book when they investigated antiques, because Freya, and she used to go looking for stolen antiques with her mentor Arthur. And when he died, then he passed the shop on to her. And so she's carrying on this business of hunting for antiques. And she set up her own company, the Antique Hunters. I think it's called Antique Agency or something. I never made a note of it here, but never mind. But anyway, she set up this agency, and they're contacted when a painting goes missing from Lowestoft Museum. And the painting was actually donated by Arthur. And this painting contains clues, because what Arthur also left Freya was all his journals, in which he's listed all the stolen antiques that he knew about. And several of them seem to be on this cruise that Freya and her Aunt Carol go on to, an antique cruise. And this painting that was stolen is also there. It's one of these speciality cruises. And of course you've got murder and all sorts of things. You've got a strange collector who seems to be a mastermind with all black market antiques, that type of thing. And as I did with the first book, Aunt Carol is the character you love. She is larger than life. She is incredible. She's the sort of person we all need in our lives, definitely. Then I listened to, because I always like to have Audible books on the go when I'm doing housework and cooking or whatever, I listened to The Delicate Dream Department Store by Mie Lee. This had been on my radar for a long time, and everybody's had sort of rave reviews about it, and it's a Korean bestseller, and I was so wanting to enjoy it because I love my Japanese and Korean translations, and I was left disappointed. I was so disappointed in it. I think I'm in the minority. It's got a brilliant idea, the idea that as soon as you drop to sleep, your dream self goes into this department store and you can pick any dream you want. And so you've got this department store with different genres of dreams. Every floor has a different genre of dream. And you've got the point of view from Penny, who's starting work at the department store right at the beginning of the book. And as with this genre, you've got each chapter is little stories of people who are buying the dreams, sort of their befores and after, why they won the dream and then the dream, and they just didn't hold my interest. I was really disappointed. Normally, you getting these little stories, there's something to grab your emotion, but they just didn't. I think one of the reasons was I found the narration really annoying. Penny came across such a dreadful character, such a dreadful, whiny, hopeless character, really. I just didn't warm to her at all. And I found that there were so many characters with all the different floor managers and dream creators, and I didn't find any emotional impact in it, and I was really disappointed in that one. Then another arc came out a couple of days ago, Amelia Hart's new one, The Sirens. I loved Wayward. And this time we've got sort of 3 timelines. We've got 2019 and Lucy. She's a sleepwalker, and there's an event that sort of triggers her off, and she ends up sleepwalking and trying to strangle her ex-boyfriend. She's also got a skin condition that makes her almost allergic to water. Contact with water brings her out in hives and rashes and stuff. So her skin is very scarred with all these episodes. And because of this thing trying to strangle her boyfriend, she escapes to Comber Bay, it's set in Australia, to her sister Jess, and finds that her sister Jess isn't there. The house is empty, the car's there, the phone's there, everything's there, including the cat, but not Jess. Comber Bay has a history as well. There's a mystery because 8 men have gone missing from the bay, never to be found, believed drowned. And also there was a shipwreck. A convict ship went down. A convict ship carrying female convicts was shipwrecked. So this bay has got a history and this myths around it, because it's said that you can hear, at certain times, you can hear these women singing. The 3 timelines, 2019 is Lucy's timeline when she's looking for Jess. She finds Jess's diary, and so we have 1999 reading Jess's diary. And then you've got Mary and Eliza, who were women on this convict ship, and you get their story as well. And you see how everything's connected. And there's links there that you don't expect. And you get the magical realism of mermaids. And it's a lovely, lovely, lovely read. It was super, absolutely. Then another one that came out on the 13th was The Cafe with No Name by Robert Zitala. And this is a German bestseller. It's now been translated. And it's one of these gorgeous, gentle reads where not a lot happens. You're like a bystander watching what's going on. And it's set in Vienna. And you've got Robert Simon, who's a sort of gentle, unassuming man who decides to open a cafe. And it's not one of these grand cafes that you get in the centre of Vienna. It's in a poorer quarter. But he opens it. He hasn't even got a name for it, but throughout the whole book, this cafe has no name, hence the title. And over the decade, Robert Simon and the lady he employs, Miller, they serve these customers, and you get glimpses of the lives of these customers as they come in and out of the cafe over the decade. There's some lovely interludes where you've got chapters where you've just got two women talking. And it's conversation. You know how it is when you're with your friends. You jump from one topic from another and you interrupt, and it's that. You're jumping in and out of their conversation, and they skip from one topic to another. You have these little interludes. And it's quite a melancholy book because it's set in the 1960s, and the future is very uncertain. And it's sort of little vignettes about ordinary people. And it reminded me of a German book that I read a couple of years ago, Marzahn Mon Amour. And that was set in a beauty salon, I think. And again, you had these little vignettes of people just watching their lives go by. And it's a super gentle read. And then the final one I read that came out 13th was The Taking of Irene Hart by Madeline Rice. And this is set in 1950s Somerset, so you've got a historical bent on this one. And Irene and Ruby Hart are taken by their mother Hester to this community, the Garden Kingdom, because she has been drawn in by the beloved Pastor Peters. She's sold everything, given everything to him, because he has promised her eternal life. So they go to this garden community. Irene suffers from what's referred to as takings, but we'd refer to them as seizures. So she's quite happy because she feels accepted in this community. They don't look at her with disgust when she has these episodes. Ruby, on the other hand, she sees that her chance for marriage and happiness has gone, because there's no chance of that in this community. Because marriage in this community is spiritual, not physical. If you marry someone, you live apart. There's no physical contact. So her dreams of love and marriage have all disappeared. But she goes because, one, she's got no choice. Her mother says she's got to go. And two, she's very, very protective of Irene. So that's why she goes. You've also got Constable Philip Hodge. He's investigating the community because a baby was discovered abandoned outside the community that the community deny all knowledge of, because after all there's no physical in the community at all, so definitely wouldn't be babies. But he's not so sure. And one of the community members is found hanged, and he later discovers that she's not the first person who's committed suicide. So he goes to investigate, and you've got Ruby's feistiness, her belief that something is not quite right. And you've got his earnestness to investigate this, and the way he comes up against Pastor Peters, that this brick with his face is his brick wall. It's a lovely story. It's dark, and you find out in the author's afterword that she's based it on a cult that was in Somerset in the 1850s. So you have to think, hang on, this is all based on fact. But yeah, a lovely read. Book of the first half of the month, well, that little accolade is going to Amelia Hart's The Sirens, because that was brilliant. So at the moment, that is in the runner for my book of the month for February. It wins the first half of the month. So we'll see what happens in the second half. I've still got lots of I've got 4 arcs to read still that come out in that were published on the 13th that I never got round to. And I've got some other arcs as well that I'm never going to get read before their publication dates. But I'm just going to read them anyway, because you know me, I like reading. My end of the month wrap up will be slightly different. It won't be as structured as they normally are. You won't get the little pictures in the corner like I normally do, because I'll actually be on holiday. I'll be in Malta at when that at the end of the month. So I'll be filming that as best I can. It'll be a wrap up without the little pictures. So I'm just warning you. Anyway, I will go off and do some reading. So happy reading. Take care.